All right, where's Marner going?
Not Utah.
Wait, that rumor was false? I thought Twitter, everything's right on Twitter.
That, honestly, so these kinds of things, when they start taking a life of their own and they get like several hundred retweets or reposts, whatever the hell they're called now,
Yeah.
the Leafs were pissed. They were genuinely upset. I spoke to a couple people within front office, and they were not happy at all about it. It happens, whatever, it is what it is. But no, he's not going. His agent and their camp were not happy either.
Where are we at?
I think the Leafs are listening. I think there's an understanding as to where are the realistic options for Mitch. If he's going to go anywhere, if he's going to waive, where are the realistic options? So the Leafs got to figure that out, have those discussions. If they get something they think they like, then they'll go to Mitch and Darren and everybody there and say, all right, here's what we got. What do you think? But I do believe he's not going to San Jose. Like, the Sharks aren't going to work out a deal and all of a sudden he's going to say yes. There are a few teams, and I don't know the exact number. I don't know if there is a specific number. I believe there are 4 teams that he would go to. I think there's a few more. But it all comes down to what Treliving and the staff are going to pull off.
So does the implications of his July 1st signing bonus have a status for this trade? And does that now limit the sort of teams that'll be available for him based on them paying that at that time?
I think if they're going to do this, and I was told this by 2 separate people unsolicited, if they're going to do this, they're going to try to max out the return. And if that means paying his $7.25 million bonus, no problem. It's MLSE. Last time I checked, they've got some pockets. So they don't have any problem spending that money. And if it gets pushed to July 1 or July 2nd or 5th or August, so be it. But in terms of maximizing the dollars, if you're paying out that 7.25 and his actual dollar amount, 725, 775, whatever it is, that adds value. So they're going to try to max that as much as they can. Is there an extension in place? If there is, that adds value from the Leaf perspective. So I don't know if it'll get to that point, but in terms of them spending the money to pay his bonus, I was told that's a non-issue.
Quick question here, not to interrupt here. Does that 8th year, so him not getting that 8th year, does that really have an influence? Does that really have any basis on if he's going to sign it up? Because my thing is, he's going to be in the $150 million realm when it's all said and done.
Right.
The $7, $8, $10 million really make a difference.
No.
Yep.
Grand scheme of things, no.
Yep.
It is what it, it's.
How about to Paul Marner? Does it matter?
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him.
Okay.
Paul's biggest fan here, by the way. Definitely.
You have to walk the streets of Toronto eventually. You live down
I've been maintaining this take. Like, Mitch Marner's a great player.
Yes.
It's time. It's just time.
I think so. Look, they got to do something, right? There has to be some type of change. And what was the messaging coming out of the season-ending press conference? There's going to be change. Now, you're not going to make it just for the sake of doing it, but you've got to make some kind of significant change in order to shift this team. And it's moving one of the big boys. And the captain's not waving. You're not trading Austin. And it's going to take a ridiculously huge trade to move on from Willie after getting that deal. So it's Mitch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, look, and I've said this before, he wants to stay. He loves being a Leaf.
Yeah.
He loves staying in Toronto. Like, all of that doesn't change the fact that he wants to be here. Toronto. We're in Vegas.
I think he wants to be in Vegas too.
Well, I mean, look, I think Vegas would be a team he would go to, would sign off for. I think Dallas would be. I think Chicago would be. I don't know how Chicago would work. I don't see a fit there. I don't get paid for that stuff, so let them figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think there is a few more, Nashville and a few more that he would seriously consider. But I agree. I think it's time, and I think it's better for all parties involved. There's too much BS that comes with that comes with the Marner contingent in the Toronto area.
Yeah.
Get a break from that. He'll probably thrive somewhere. He's come this close to 100 points a few times. He goes to the right environment. The guy's cracking over 100 next season.
Yeah, but I want to see it in the playoffs, though. He can get 3 billion points in the regular season.
But you're going to give up that. I mean, you look at the guys. Whatever you're giving up is based on what he can ultimately achieve. And what he's achieved in the playoffs is more points than Austin.
Oh, don't give me this, man.
Well, look, it's not just
empty
him.
calories, bro.
It's not just him is my point.
Yes.
It's everybody.
But that's frustrating for me with Leafs Nations, right? Say he did have 4 more goals.
Right.
That lack of 4 goals now erases his whole entire body of work.
Right.
So that's why I say it's almost the Larry Murphy treatment where they have to find somebody.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you have to be willing to make the big move, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, by process of elimination, the big move has to be him because it's not going to be Marner, JT, or Willie, right?
What team made a big move that everybody criticized?
Florida.
Chuck.
And
I have the infamous tweet. Remember it?
Kind of paid off.
Most lopsided trade in NHL history.
You
I had
tweeted
this
that?
tweet that Calgary won it lopsided.
You're going to the pool.
Everybody.
I know I am.
I looked at that. I said, holy crap, that's a good
Yeah.
move. So nobody's going to look back and go, he shouldn't have. No, at the time, everybody makes that trade.
Yeah.
Johnny was a different situation. I think he wanted to move on, and while he did consider, obviously, Calgary, sometimes your hands are tied. As a manager, you want to keep the guy. As a coach, you want this guy to do something, and this, that, and the other. As a teammate, you want guys to stay. But ultimately, it's their decision if they want to leave at the end of it. So, Tree's been in a rough spot, but I don't put the fault on him for those situations.
All right, last one on Marner because there are other players on this roster. I don't want to spend 35 minutes on Mitch
sure?
Marner. I'm just over the conversation.
You should see the
Fucking end
text
it.
chain. You should see the text messages I get from this guy every 8 minutes about Mitch Marner.
Because, man, this is like approaching already Rick Nash territory. It took 8 fucking years for that guy to be dealt. Just get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid. I'm getting
It was
heated.
Willie. Wasn't it Willie last year?
I thought,
a year and a half
I remember
ago.
that.
No, I love Nylander. I love Matthews. Marner, I'm not a bit. I just think it's time. Last question on the Marner front. Your gut. What's your gut telling you? Does this happen over the next week and a half here? Percentage. We're in Vegas.
I think it happens this summer.
Okay.
Whether I don't think it happens before the draft.
Okay.
I mean, there might be a deal in principle, like okay, we're going to pull this off and we'll do it July 1 after that e-transfer goes across.
Is that what they're doing for 7.5 sheets a year in e-transfer?
No.
Unlikely.
You get direct deposits.
All right. Where do you want to steer now? Do you want to go into Bertuzzi and Domi? I thought it was kind of interesting that the whole news comes out that those guys are potentially going to market and the Leafs are linked to DeBrusque. Like, is this all like public posturing?
What I was told was it's time for the Leafs to step up, which to me means the offers that have been presented on both guys. The offers that have been presented are not where they want to be, or close to it. Because normally it's, we got a little work to do, maybe this way, maybe that way. No, it was straight up, the Leafs need to step up. So on Domi's front, on Bertuzzi's front, that's kind of the messaging that I'm getting right now.
On term or dollars?
They wouldn't specify. I think it's just in general. My guess would be dollars. I don't know that 100%, but my gut would say dollars on that front. I don't think there's a long-term fit here for either guy, but you're probably looking at the 3 to 5 range, kind of mid. I mean, you're kind of teetering on long-term when you get closer to 5, but that was the messaging I got last night. Actually, flying into here was it's the Leafs need to step up. So maybe we'll get some more information on that later in the week on the two sides. They're also trying to get Timothy Liljegren locked up. They're in negotiations now to get him signed. It's easier to trade a guy with a contract in place versus a guy who's arbitration eligible or is an RFA in general, stuff like that. So, but they have had discussions. They're talking again this week about getting that done, and they're still open to trading them. They're looking for big D. They want some big guys on that blue line, and they're not the only ones. There are a lot of teams looking to kind of shake up their blue line. I didn't get a chance to put it out. I'm going to tweet this later, but Utah is very aggressive in trying to get a big-name defenseman on their blue line, and they're not the only ones. I think Toronto's trying to do something similar as well.
Trade or like signing-wise? Wow.
On the goaltending front, have you heard anything more on the Wall potential extension? And do you have any news or information on this new prospect that the Leafs have in their system that's coming over from
the Russian
KHL?
kid?
Yeah.
I can't even say
Why
his
are
name.
you laughing?
I can't say his name.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't say it. I can't do it. The new goalie?
Yeah,
Let's get our KHL insider on.
I heard his nickname's AK. It's
go.
AK. No, that's what they called him. AK.
Actually,
that makes it easy.
Okay.
That makes it easy. Well, it sounds like Wall's done. Like you could, with guys on expiring contracts or entering the final year of their deal, you can still agree. You can't not negotiate. You can still negotiate. It's different with UFAs where you're not allowed to negotiate, but you can talk and massage those conversations. Because last year at the draft, there were like 8 guys that already agreed to sign with the team. So, can't do it, but whatever.
Yeah.
With RFAs, you can have those talks, and then you just sign the paperwork on July 1. So Wall will be locked in. Russian kid, I'll be honest, I haven't heard too much.
Yeah.
I think they're, hopeful that he develops into something at this level on our side of the pond. And they're looking at other alternatives.
Yeah.
There are some more names that are starting to pop up. We're hearing more about, Tristan Jarry. And this is more of teams now trying to do their due diligence to see what's available.
Yeah.
We know Philip Gustafson's available, and the Wild have made it clear to everybody.
That's my guy that I want.
That
Gustafson.
He's up for grabs. He's got a solid cap hit.
Yeah.
I tweeted out just right before coming on, Anaheim is very active right now in John Gibson discussions. They're trying to move him.
The 9th year in a row, yeah.
Yep, but
I've been all over that, by the way. You guys know that.
They're pushing this one this time around. Look, whether they do it or not, I don't know. We'll see. But they're definitely pushing it. They're being more aggressive.
He saw the new jerseys. He's like, get me the hell out of here.
Oh, you don't like them?
They're gross.
I mean, I said
District 5 and just call it a night.
LA's are great.
Yes, LA's are good.
fantastic.
But Anaheim's, I don't need to see a pylon out there. So
I saw the jerseys.
Yeah.
I got to see them before the Cup final.
You did.
They brought me in I wasn't allowed to talk about it until today, but sometimes you got to play nice. I usually don't, but this time I said sure. They're nice jerseys.
Yeah.
I saw the Leaf one and everything. It's nice. The difference, there's a little bit of extra breathable stitching on the sides and then a little extra material on the elbows. But other than that, they were pretty much the same. Couldn't really tell the difference.
Okay. Let's shift to free agency now. I won't lie, guys. I am really scared. I think teams make their biggest mistakes on July 1. And then I wake up today. I know I'm on post standard time or Pacific time. And Chris Tanev is linked to the Leafs. And I love Chris Tanev, but the guy blocks shots with his face and not his body. So it scares the shit out of me. The Leafs are linked to him. We know Tree has his guys. I think they're going to overpay for somebody, and this market's going to go insane.
Well, like I said, they want big body defensemen. They want guys that aren't afraid to put their face in front of a puck.
Zadorov,
I mean, Tree's had a hard on for him for a while. So, like that's going to be a guy that he's going to pursue July 1 if he's available.
We're talking about like 5-6 guys making $6 a year. I know the cap's going up.
But that's what you need, man. That's what
like
this team
Dylan
is missing.
DeMello,
You're missing.
Yeah.
You're missing those mid-range guys.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. You need those guys sprinkled in your roster, right? Because those are the guys that help get you not to the playoffs through.
They help the Nick Robertsons that you're.
Matthew Nyes, right?
Yeah.
He'll be at that number hopefully a lot sooner than later.
Yeah.
But, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do all these championship teams? What do they add a year or two before they become championship teams, and then add that season?
Yeah.
They add these big body veteran guys. These the intangible pieces that all these teams miss, these veteran pieces. You look at Florida, what did they do? Nothing crazy, but hey, Kyle Okposo had a big
he was good,
impact
man.
on the team, both on and off the ice.
Yeah.
You want those extras to add to your group. And then the last couple of years, obviously they make some certain ads. Vegas made a couple ads. Tampa made certain ads. Colorado especially, bringing in Lehkonen. So you identify certain areas. The Leafs have skill. Tree talked about it again. We got a shitload of skill. All right, awesome. Well, where are the rest of the pieces?
Complement that, yeah.
You need that.
Yeah. So your best guess in free agency, who are some names to be mindful of from the Toronto perspective? Matt Roy's another guy who's made some waves the last couple of days.
Yeah, and they're still having conversations with LA. Not as physical, but a strong two-way kind of presence. I think if you could bring in that caliber player and then bring in the rugged guy, I think that's a perfect fit. Like, that's exactly what they would love to do.
Yeah.
Get somebody that's kind of mobile, but also is responsible and isn't going to, leave you out to dry.
Yeah.
What TJ Brody was supposed to do. That didn't exactly work out too often, especially later on. And then get your big balls to the wall guy. Get the guy that's going to be that fan favorite that's going to just go nuts and tear people up and play well defensively. Just got to manage expectations too. Like, you got to know what you're getting. Don't Larry Murphy anybody.
Yeah. Is there room on this roster for Fraser Minson, Cowan, and Nick Robertson next year?
All three?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about all three. Robertson's name was out there around trade deadline. I haven't heard anything definitive yet, but it wouldn't shock me as they're looking to make moves if he's going to be a guy there. Look, they're not trading Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Tree's made that very abundantly clear to teams that are like, sure, we like this, but we want that kid. And he's giving it the old get out of here. That's not happening. So they like him. They're going to give him an opportunity. But I think Nick is someone that they'll consider like they did around trade deadline if the right fit is there. You got to give a little bit to get, and they're also going to look up because if they don't sign one of or both Bertuzzi and Domi, they're going to have to replace them in some fashion. So whether it's a Dakota Joshua or somebody that fits that's a mid-six interchangeable kind of guy that you can see like those kinds of players are very valuable. You need those types of pieces on this team.
I know people are going to get horned up. We're in Las Vegas. I'm wearing my T-shirt. Thank you to Team LTD for hooking me up last year. I'm fired up. I want to see some activity.
Yeah.
Could tie this into the Maple Leafs conversation. Do you think the first rounders in play 23rd overall? And do you expect like league-wide like fireworks over the next couple days?
Overall, yes.
Yeah.
I know we say this crap every year.
Yeah, I know.
And it's got a different vibe this year.
It does.
Maybe it's because of all the oxygen that they're
Sphere.
pumping into the.
Oh man, I felt good last night. It was like 2. I went, let's get after it.
They don't do it, but they do it. They say they don't. It's fresh air. It's fresh air. It's going to help tonight. I'll tell you how much.
Buddy.
That's going to help in the morning too. Look, Vegas is an interesting. They're in an interesting position because they're trying to get Marchessault signed. Teams are calling about their goalies. They're exploring different options. Some teams are asking about, Shea Theodore. He's got 1 year left. Is he a possibility? William Karlsson's name has popped up with a few different things. With Toronto, that's not going to happen, by the way. He's got a limited no trade. I'll let you put 2 and 2 together.
Marner trade?
But it won't be for him. They're looking at doing a few different things. So if they can pull it off, they're going to have to bring in somebody offensive. They spoke with Chandler Stevenson's camp as well to see if there's at least a fit there. But the sense that I'm getting is primarily they want to try to make a couple different moves trade-wise to see if they can create a little bit of additional cap space before being able to commit to their guys. So they love Marchessault. He loves it here. Him and his Lambo. They hope to get something done. But I think there's a few other things that need to happen before Vegas can take care of the bulk of their work.
Anything else, Stu?
Yeah, I'm gonna preface this question by reminding you that Leafs Nation is closely listening to these words, and you were both at the draft, and you saw the intensity, you saw the attrition, you just saw the pace of play. How many pieces away do you think this Leafs roster is from ultimately getting to that dance that they've been missing out on for these many years?
They need those 2 defensemen, and they don't have to be like look at OEL and Dmitry Kulikov.
I know, they're great.
They were the third pair for the Florida Panthers.
They were awesome, though, yeah.
Like you need that type of depth.
The right pieces, yeah.
Right, the right pieces.
Yeah.
What was the from Miracle? I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for
it's an American movie.
Right,
only Canada
you
for
don't
me.
Believe?
Slap shot, buddy.
You don't believe? Okay.
No, I don't believe.
Youngblood.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Just be careful when you go to the. Anyway, never mind. Okay, we're back to where we were. Sorry. Yeah, they need those 2 guys on the blue line. They need to get those couple guys, the 2-way guy and the physical guy. So I think they need that because of the free agents that they have. I'm going to exclude them from the current roster. They need a top 6 winger. They need a mid-6 winger, and personally, they need a proper third-line center. I like the pieces that they've got. Now, Dewar I'm including in the mix because he's an RFA, and I think that was a great add. You add some of the young kids to the mix, but you need that veteran presence. Now, all 3 of those pieces up front are difficult to get in one summer, so maybe you look towards trade deadline to make that type of add. But, I mean, realistically, you're looking at five skaters that you need on this team. It's doable. It's just you got to find the right guys to make that blend. When you've got Austin Matthews and, Willie Nylander up front and quasi Mitch Marner, depending what happens, like your window's now. So you've got to make the right moves to get things going. And I think the changes that they made with big dog up top on MLSC that came in.
Oh, why is his name escaping me now?
Totally forgot. It's the heat's getting to me.
Richard Petty coming in.
Yes. With him coming in, it's shit or get off the pot time. So I think there's going to be some moves that are being made, whether it's free agency or trade, that are going to be with that in mind. And I think it'll be an interesting rest of the month and an interesting July.
I do have a quick follow-up
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
So with winning ultimately number 1 on the list for GM and self-preservation number 2, do you see them going out and making those moves right away, or they're going to be doing it over the course of time?
No, it's now. It's now. You gotta start.
Come on, we're in
not
Vegas.
all the changes now. Like again, trade deadline and whatnot, but it's now. What the hell are you waiting for?
Exactly.
You know, you got the right pieces in place, and you've got the young kids stepping up. You know, you have Nyes that has the experience.
Yeah.
So Adam, give him more responsibility. You've got either Minton or Cowan that's going to generate some time with this club, maybe both. You need those pieces with the vets, with the superstars. That leads to a pretty good, successful team. You look at Florida, and they're young kids that were there. Luosterainen, Lundell was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, those guys, they had a few years experience. And now, you know, Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah, I mean, me and Rosie have been saying that I think we're actually anticipating next summer to be the summer the Maple Leafs do something huge, but just never know. There's moving parts.
I mean,
there.
I get because, you know, Tavares will be off the books, and if you do keep him, he's probably in the $7 million range, maybe. So you shore up money there. But again, I'm anticipating something happening with Mitch. So
there's the quote, clip it right now.
Because of that, now's the time.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.